Alright, so I got a bit of an update video for you today. Now I've gotten a lot of little odds and ends done around the car since the brake video, since the rear end video. Just a lot of the odd little components that I didn't have time to include in those videos or that I couldn't really show in an upcoming video. So I decided this video would be perfect just to kind of throw everything at you that I had kind of doing in the background. Now first, one thing you probably noticed from both the front and the rear suspension videos is that I never had sway bars in them. I had ordered them months back and they had been on back order forever, but once they finally came in, I got the front one in the front, but I'm leaving the rear one off just because I'm still doing brake lines and eventually I'll be doing fuel lines. Now the kind I'm running is exactly the same style as what is stock on the Datsun, except they are much thicker. The front is 1 1/8 inch diameter thickness and then the rear is 1 inch. Now I chose to go this route because one, the suspension is already pretty stiff, along with the roll cage. It's going to be a really stiff chassis. But I decided to go that route with the original kind of sway bars because of the rear end CV shafts I did. Now, Techno Toy Tuning has their own rear sway bars, but one thing you should know is they will not work if you do a CV conversion like I've done. They'll work with original stock CV shafts, but not like the ones I have here in the rear. It was kind of that reason I decided to go this route with a more stiff stock application of a sway bar. Now the sway bar kit I got also comes from Silvermine Motors. It's the same company I got the Wheelwood brake kit from. Kit comes with both sway bars, all the hardware you need, and it's a direct bolt-in to what you have as stock. Now, following suspension, one of the most integral parts of the rear end are those bearings. Now a lot of you have commented on the past videos about how I don't pack them well. First off, thank you for actually calling me out on this stuff. I want to be a better builder and I want to build a better car. So anytime you see me doing something like that, thank you so much for calling me out. Now first, when I did the front suspension video, I originally just put the hubs on just to show you what exactly all the front suspension would be. I knew I'd be taking them off later because you have to bolt the rotors to the hub. And as you see in the brake video, I actually packed them well with an actual packer. Now, there was a lot of concern with how I did the rear end bearings. After losing a ton of sleep, I decided to go back and pull it all apart, the whole rear end part, to take the bearings out, and I completely repacked them. So what I ended up doing was taking a syringer and basically forcing grease in between each individual ball bearing and the races of all those bearings in the rear end. Now I know some of you are like, oh what a headache, you had to take that all apart. Honestly, the Techno Toy Tuning suspension parts and those new CV shafts make it a breeze to work on stuff in the rear end. I can't compliment that stuff enough. It was so easy just to work on it. The engineering of the parts is so well done. It just makes everything headache free. But yeah, I did want to address that because I know that there was a lot of concern about it with both the front and the rear, but believe me, they are sufficiently packed at this point. There's no reason for them to fail. But thank you all again for actually commenting on this stuff. It really does help me to know what exactly I'm doing wrong and how I can be better at this stuff. And speaking of being wrong, I made a mistake in the Wheelwood video. I said that you would need to get adapters to go from the metric hardware of your Datsun to the standard hardware of those Wheelwood brakes. I completely forgot I had left these adapters in a box so I wouldn't lose them. They actually come with the kit already. So completely forgo what I said in that. That Wheelwood brake kit from Silvermine Motors has every bit of hardware you need to install this in any Datsun. I just completely forgot that I had put those in a box. So yeah, don't listen to me there. It comes with everything you need. It'll all bolt in. Now in the meantime, I'm still doing all the hardline brakes exactly the way I said I would do it in the brake video. I'm going to do them all standard hardware just so that it's all simple, really clean, and I'm going to do it exactly kind of how I want. Now if you do need to upgrade or replace your original line kits, there are plenty of places out there. Z Car Depot offers stainless steel bolt-in brake kits that will be delivered right to you. I'm choosing to do this route because I want it to be really clean. I want it to be kind of exactly how I want. And I just really want it to look nice. But of course, having said that, anything that you do custom is going to take a lot longer. So it's taking me a lot longer than I thought to do. Now following that, there are a lot of little other bits and pieces around the car that I'm going back and kind of redoing. For instance, a lot of the mounts here in the trans tunnel, I'm going back and redoing some of those welds. They do look kind of boogery, I know, but I just don't have the room to adequately fit under here. If you saw that in the videos, I'm struggling just to get my helmet in there along with the torch, everything else I need. But I am going back and redoing some of those welds to make sure that this thing is really integral for all the stuff I want to do with it. And of course, still I need to redo the seat mounts here on the passenger side and actually get this seat bolted in, because it still isn't. So as you can see, I have a lot of loose ends here, and I have a very long checklist of stuff that I'm trying to go through and cross off. Now, as this stuff starts getting more and more complete, the chassis at this point is done. We have suspension in, rear drive lines done, roll cages in, a lot of the body stuff is done, motor mount, stuff like that. Even brakes are in, minus brake lines, but that'll be coming up. So, it's about time we actually start talking about what kind of power plant we want in this. Because we have such an amazing chassis that's really stiff, it's going to handle anything really well. And I'm excited to start talking about that, which is this. This is a VQ35 DE from a 350Z. Now I'm going with this because it's an awesome starting point for the type of power I want out of this car. It's a 3.5 liter V6, all aluminum block, aluminum heads, 6-speed transmission, everything I could possibly want as a starting point for this car. Now I went with the DE over the high rev, mostly because of price. A lot of stuff I plan on doing with this, I'm not going to need the high rev parts. My basic plan for this is to tear this down here in the next couple of weeks, starting with the block, pistons, rods, balancing the crank, get everything the way I want it, and really upping the compression out of this. Now I don't plan on doing any kind of forced induction. I don't really plan to supercharge it or turbocharge it at the moment. Mostly because the power output I'm really looking for is about 300 to 350. I think would be perfect for the type of chassis I have. Something that would be really street reliable and something I can just have a ton of fun with. Now, having said that, there's going to be a ton of work in here in the type of piston rod setup and cam head setup that I do. That's really where a lot of the power is going to be coming from. So these are all going to be things that you guys are going to be seeing here in the next couple months as I take this engine really incrementally and decide exactly what the kind of build I want is. Now, as you guys know, I love to do research on every single aspect I do about this car, whether it's from a bolt to the type of parts I'm using, whatever it may be. I want to make sure everything I do is right and to spec. If you guys know of any good resources for a VQ35, please provide it down in the comments, as right now I'm trying to do as much research as I can getting ready to build this thing. I want to make sure everything I do is right and to spec, because I really want this thing to be an all-out sprinter and just something that is going to be absolutely bonkers in this car. But yeah, I'm super excited to start tearing this thing down, and it's something you guys are going to be seeing here in the next couple of weeks. So definitely stay tuned for it, as I'm going to try to do it more incrementally between doing the block at first, doing the heads, trying to take it like that so then I can actually show exactly what I'm doing. It also helps me build something a lot better quality and to spec. Now, if I am able to hit the kind of power I want out of this with that chassis, I can't wait for the type of car this thing's going to be. So definitely stay tuned for what all I'm doing in this, as you'll start to get to see sneak peeks here in the next couple of weeks. But like I said, a lot of that will be coming up here in the next couple of weeks to months. It kind of depends on how fast I go with it and what I'll have allotted towards it. Now in the meantime, I'm kind of looking to expand a little bit outside of the build here on this channel. And I'm kind of thinking of doing some stuff with that. This is my 1988 Toyota pickup. Now this is my daily driver, and as a matter of fact, this was my very first car. Now to give you some numbers on this, this is the 22R engine, so that's a 2.4 liter inline 4 with a carburetor. It's probably in the neighborhood of around 100 horsepower, give or take. Now even though it's a truck, this thing really drives more like a car. The net weight on this is probably about 2,400 pounds, so that 100 horsepower ends up going a long way with this thing. But it is an absolute blast to drive on-road, off-road. It's something I've thoroughly enjoyed being the owner of, and it's something I'd like to take into being maybe more of a project vehicle here on this channel. Now, I could practically make a list for this truck for all the things it doesn't have. Now, of course, there's no ECU for the engine management, there's no traction or stability control, there's not even ABS for this. There's not even airbags in it. This thing didn't even come with a radio, it's something I added in later. Now, for all the things it doesn't have, I really think is what makes this truck so cool. I definitely think this thing has character, and I'm not just saying that because it's my truck, but I think it's something that is really cool, and it's something I'd really like to share more of here on the channel. If any of you guys think you're interested in seeing a bit more of that, definitely let me know, because I would love to do a little expose on that here on this channel. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. It is always greatly appreciated. Your support means so much to me, and I really appreciate that you guys even took a chance here on this video. I'm really enjoying doing this. I really enjoy doing these videos, so the fact that I can share it with some other people out there is awesome. And if you think you're interested in any of the merch I have, definitely check out the store at olddatsun.co. If you want one of these t-shirts or some of the decals, they're there. And remember, anytime you're buying something, you're actually supporting this build. But thank you again for watching. I'm so excited to see the direction this channel is going to be taking here in the next few months. I got a lot of big plans for stuff, and obviously doing the engine build is going to be awesome, and I can't wait. So definitely stay tuned to see more of that. I can't wait to start on it. And let me know if you want to see more of that. I would really be interested in doing it. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.